Get down.
Let me clear my throat. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on track, you feel me? I'm about to get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informants informing, that information forming. Important you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focused on scoring. Got your underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the kick rock, skipping the cross, squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me Evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with peasant needles. So lethal, made Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Anything we make up or just break up, and the snake hits get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up if I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession. Shine a light on my imperfections like a projection. Every struggle a lesson, your issues ain't your oppression. Never got a question, keep pushing me to progression like I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is my favorite day of the week, as we all know, because I get to spend some time with you. I've been waiting all week for this day and this moment, and we are here. Happy January. I hope that the first 4 days have been nothing less than amazing for each of you. I feel absolutely crooked today, but that's all right. We're going to work it out. Right. Anyway. So welcome, guys, tonight on to Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B. Lady Dawn B here on the most amazing network ever to exist. Where is that? You are on the Bravo with Sheila network, curated by none other than the Queen Bee herself, Pastor Sheila Ingram. And as always, we give her a bravo. I'm always grateful she yields me this captain's chair to do my thing. And I am looking forward to spending this time with you. So on tonight, we are starting off the year with what? Ladies first in the ladies' room. I hope you enjoyed the last time we were on. We were talking about the Proverbs 31 woman. Well, tonight we're going to kick it up a notch. In 2024, we're going to make sure that we do the daggone thing. We are going to be bringing you great content, great conversation. You know, here I like to do real talk with real resolutions. So thank you for joining us. Tap in, share, subscribe, like, invite a friend. I did. I got my girls from the Ladies Room Squad here with me on tonight. And I'm going to bring them up to the platform before we go any further. So without further ado, I'm bringing to the stage none other than my girl, Detroit's best, Lady Deshawn Beal. Come on, Lady Deshawn. Dun, dun, dun. And last but not least, my fellow Bronx girl, my lady, my buddy, a kindred spirit, the Dr. N.D. Brown. Come on up. Holla at the people. Hey, sis.
Hey, guys. How are you? I'm in transit. I'm hanging out with my grandma. Say hi.
Hi, Grandma.
They say hi, Grandma.
Well, we appreciate you tuning in and making sure that you're coming on to share some good information, your thoughts, feelings, and we're going to help get some people straight on tonight. We want to help get ourselves in a better space. So before we begin, I just want to give you a little insight on what's going to be going down for the month of January, how we are kicking off this year. here on the platform every Thursday night at 7 p.m. We're going to be bringing you some great stuff. I'm going to kind of work backwards so that we can get it up to the conversation and roll with it. Hope that's all right with y'all. But before I even do that, I want to get into this comment section and welcome the good folk that have come to join and lend their voice and opinions to the conversation. So we see you out there. Pastor Chris, aka the Psalmist Voice, is in the house. He is a part of the men's lounge that will be coming up really soon, guys. If you don't know, you're gonna find out. They were on when we did the verses, and it was an amazing time, wonderful conversation. And Pastor Chris is one of our regular squad members of the men's lounge. And we see our number one Bravette is in the house as always. Then again, where else would she be? Because she does what she does right from here. The Ine Kenya. We love you, Ine. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Also, another Bravo fave, another great supporter, Lady Navoa is in the building. Good to see you. Love and blessings to you. Uh-oh. It goes my girl. She is we are team WIW, and she know what that means. None other than Lady Anitra is in the house. Ace Carter, how you doing, sis? I'm so glad you made it on and into the building on tonight. Hey, Kiki 2289, thank you for joining us. I am so glad that you are here. Hey, it's Kina. All right, Kina. Okay, good to see you, sis. So glad you didn't miss it, but you came in right on time. All right, so we got again Lady Novoa. We got my girl Anitra. I'm telling you, that's my fellow WIW. We holding it down together. We're gonna let y'all in on what that is at some point. We gonna let y'all know. We're gonna let you know. Again, we have the Psalmist Voice, Pastor Chris, who is part of our men's lounge squad. And we are glad that he is here. And we got Lady Novoa, and she is wishing us all a happy new year to you and love you too, and love for 2024. I hope y'all are having a great 2024 so far. I really do. Mine has been pretty good. I cannot complain. It's full of peace thus far. How about you, Lady Deshawn? What's been going on in your world before we get into this conversation?
It's been peaceful. The blessing of God. Peaceful.
Hallelujah.
And I'm holding on to it for the rest of the year. Amen.
Right, the first 4 days set the pace, so that's a good thing. And ND, I don't know if you can speak, but if you can, just unmute. Tell us how your 2024 has been so far.
It's been the devil been testing me. Gonna make me
y'all
cut
stay
him.
fighting. Y'all stay fighting.
I stay, I do, but he been testing me.
Don't
That's
cuss.
all right.
Don't cuss.
No, I ain't gonna cuss. I ain't gonna cuss. I'll put it to you this way. I went to bed at midnight. The Lord woke me up at 3:30. I've been up since 3:30. Okay? All right.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, you and the devil fight more than you and Linwood. I don't know.
So
he give you some competition there.
Yeah, I was up at 3:30 and been up all day. And the Lord revealed some stuff to me. And he told me I have to do something. I'm hoping I can get out of it, but I don't think so. Other than that, it is what it is.
Okay, well,
what can I say?
Well, we're gonna pray that we know you're gonna be obedient and do what you gotta do. So we're gonna leave it right there. We're gonna leave it right there. So I hope, or we hope, that everyone's 2024 has been going wonderful thus far. We are 4 days in, and I know God has been good to me, and for that I am glad, and I'm sure you are too. But I want to again work backwards just to fill you in a little bit. And again, please like, subscribe, and share. Help us grow this channel. Help us get this information and this good conversation out into the world. It is, as Pastor Sheila says, free 99 to like, subscribe, and share. Just takes one click, maybe two, maybe three, but that's all right. I promise you won't regret it, and we will appreciate it. We have a goal we are trying to reach in growing and building this channel, and we are almost there. So please do. And if you get a chance, or rather make some time, go back to the Bravo with Sheila Network, and you can watch some of our older programs. We need a couple of more watch hours to get us up in there where we need to go. So we pulling in all the help from the Bravo Network family, from the Bravo Nation. Just help us out. So for January, before we get into this conversation in the ladies' room, for January, let me just roll it back a little bit. So on the 25th, we are going to have the men's lounge. We're going to bring up the men of the men's lounge. I want them to be able to introduce themselves and share some information of the topic that we're going to talk about, or they're going to share on, because I'll be the only estrogen in the room, but I will just be there leaning in, listening, and maybe imparting every now and then. But we're going to let the men speak on that night. But the topic is going to be the myths of manhood. Because we know that there are some things that we think, that we believe, that we've heard, that we've been taught, and that we've been told about men and manhood that are not necessarily true. However, they've been embedded. We tend to think that we know how men feel all the time, or we assume how they feel, or we may come to our conclusion, but we want to hear from the men's mouths themselves so that we can knock out some of these myths that are going around that have been embedded in us, so we can have a better understanding of how men really feel, so that we can relate to them better. So that's going to be on the 25th of January. Then we have, I believe, on the 18th, which is the week before. Oh, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. The 25th is actually going to be Meet the Authors. See, I'm so excited, I can't even keep up with my own self. On the 25th, it's going to be Meet the Authors. It's a segment where I bring in little people who have published their books. And on this night is going to be amazing, extra amazing. We are kicking off January with some amazing people and things, because we are bringing in two visionaries who have collaborated on an amazing project going on right now. They are personal friends of mine, sisters, none other than Dr. Paulette Harper, who is I don't even know how many multi-time published in Amazon #1 bestsellers. Just about everything she touches turns to gold. She will be on. I'm proud to say that I am co-authoring one of her books even right now. That is going to be out soon, within this year, book number 6 for me. But on the 25th of January, we are going to have a Meet the Author segment with Dr. Paulette Harper and Prophetess Chandra Gore, who I'm proud to say I recently co-authored, and so did Lady Deshawn, in a book that she did called Faith Moves 366, the daily devotions for this year, 2024. So you can definitely grab your copy and encourage yourself every day. That's on the 25th. On the 18th, I'm sorry. See, I was so excited about the men's lounge, I just skipped everybody else. On the 18th, the men's lounge will be on, doing what they do, sharing, talking, making it happen, pulling down the myths and the lies that we have been heard, and misconceptions. Pastor Chris says you don't want to miss it. You don't. If you don't do nothing no other time, lean in on that day. Okay. All right. So that'll be on the 18th. Then on the week before, on the 9th, we are going to have another segment of Redeeming Me. The Redeeming Me series is a series that I started last year. And it is basically a series that is going to help you get back to the core of who you are. I share from my journey, because so many times we have gone through so many things, being so many things to so many other people, that we either have not had time to develop our own identity, or our own identity is buried underneath all of the many hats we wear. But it is time for us to unpeel those layers and get back to ourselves. You are worth being who God called you to be. So we're going to unpack that. And that topic is going to be getting out of my own way. So that's going to be good. So that's January, which brings us to tonight in the ladies' room. I'm excited. I think my nerves are bad. I'm so excited. I'm not sure. But this conversation and this topic on tonight is one, it's going to stir the pot. It's going to stir the pot a little bit. I want to welcome Alicia Harris to the floor, to the room. I want to welcome my admin partner, my beautiful admin partner, Brandy Williams, to the room on tonight. See, I'm so used to being on Clubhouse. Everything is a room. To the platform on tonight. So what we are going to talk about tonight in the ladies' room is the topic, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? Now, ladies, we know, and yep, it's going to stir the pot a little bit. You know, we're going to whack the bee's nest and see what comes out just a little bit. But we know that this is a question that comes up, or a statement that gets spoken in relationships so often, in the dating space. Before you get any further, it's like the beginning of an interview nowadays when when you're going in these dating streets. And women, a lot of us come out straightway with this statement to the man before they can take you out to dinner, before they can even invite you to coffee, before we can do get to even know the person a little bit, let them in. A lot of us, the simple question we start out with is, well, what can you do for me? And tonight I want to talk about that a little bit because this might be a little, I'm not even sure how to really put it, but when we ask that question, it's very loaded because we are then asking them what are they going to do for, what can they do for us? But in exchange, the men then want to know, well, what are you going to do for me? It all comes down to the negotiating table. And I found that a lot of times what happens is we as women, we end up putting a price list on our love. One of the things I said was that, we as women, when we ask that question, do we expect men to give us their hearts, yet we give them a price list of what they're going to get from us? If you do this for me, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to love you this way if you do this for me, or if you buy me that, or if you pay my bills. Well, if the man is doing all of these things, back in the day, it was the man was the breadwinner, and then the women were barefoot, pregnant, taking care of the home, all that, these times have changed and we no longer function under that. So if that still be the case and we're asking the men, well, what are you going to do for me? Ladies, what is the exchange that we are offering to our men that they should do that for us? So that's the premise of our conversation on tonight. I know it might be a little misleading and, it's always a little twist here on, Thursday night. So we just want to stir it up a little bit because we want to break these things off and just be better. So I'm going to back up to let my sisters come on in and jump in and share your thoughts, your feelings, and get the conversation started. Go ahead, Deshawn.
Listen, this is simple for me. Take me back to being barefoot and pregnant. I don't want to work. I don't want to work. No, but seriously, that's what we ask for, right? Because everybody's so stuck on, I want to be in my soft girl era. I don't want to be in my masculine energy anymore. And the reality of it is you want to be barefoot and pregnant. That's what it is. That's what it is, because you're asking for a man to literally take care of you in every aspect. You need him to take care of you financially. You need him to take care of you emotionally. You want him to be there for your mental stability. You're asking this man to be everything for you. So in turn, you have to be everything for him. And I'm going to be honest, working a 9 to 5 and being everything for a man, it doesn't work. It's not cohesive. It doesn't work. You have to be not necessarily pregnant, because I wouldn't dare, but you have to be a housewife. You have to be available for him 24/7. 24/7, because everything that you're asking for him, now in turn, you have to be all of that for him. You have to cook. You have to clean. You have to be there for him emotionally. You have to be there for him mentally. You have to support. You have to encourage. You have to be there for him spiritually. You have so many things that you have to be for this man. And there's no way possible, no way possible to do that when you're still focusing on building somebody else's business, or focusing on a 9 to 5, or I'm not going to say being an entrepreneur, because then you make your own hours and you can kind of, tweak your schedule and your time and make it work. But working a traditional 9 to 5, it is just not possible. It's not possible, because there's going to be something that you lack. I was watching I'm not gonna put her name out there, but it's a young lady on Instagram that makes videos all the time, and there were a lot of women on her page that were complaining about their man cheating or having another woman. And while I don't agree that a man should have more than one wife, I don't agree in cheating or adulterous behavior. She made some valid points. She made some valid points about how we as women want men to be faithful. You want them to be in monogamous relationships with you and take care of you. But on the flip side of that, you're not available for him to give him everything that he needs. So it really makes us look at us like everything that we're asking this man to do, are you available to do that for him? And here's a bigger question. Are you doing it for yourself?
Oh,
Are you all of that for yourself? Are you paying all of your own bills without him? Are you taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? Have you even attempted to try the healing process and figure out what it is about you or why you operate the way you operate? Because I guarantee you, all of us have something that we need to work on. So that's my take. I'm with the take me back to being barefoot, unpregnant, but leave me at home.
it got to be total package, sis. It got to be total package.
No, I'm okay.
All right, you just like your negotiation
I
table.
take a Cabbage Patch down. How about that?
I didn't say pregnant with one because Lord knows I'd be like, the only thing I'll be pregnant with is purpose. That's about it. That's all I got for you, bro.
Yes,
That's it.
I love it.
I'll make your dream come true as far as purpose, but it's the only push I'm doing,
Yes.
only birth I'm giving is to purpose and ministry. Like that's it. That's all I got. That's all I
Listen, we can
I can't do
practice. We married folk. It's okay.
Hey,
We can practice, but we ain't having no
practice
baby.
till- got. Make it
Listen,
perfect.
I
Practice
pretend.
till you get it right when you're married.
Practice till you get it right.
Till you get it
That's
right.
it. That's
You know?
it.
Sometimes in that, there's nothing wrong with failing a couple of times, just, maybe because then you can go back and try it again. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Listen, Anitra is on to something. We can't be everything to a man. We're meant to be a helpmeet. Come on now. But that help is a lot. Listen, y'all. Y'all know who my husband is. I don't even have to explain this, but me and him have this conversation all the time. And we're constantly evolving, constantly learning that, we require a lot of each other. My husband is a traditional man. He wants to protect, provide, and do it all. If he had it his way, I would be barefoot and pregnant. But that just ain't how, that's not the world we live in right now.
Right.
So the reality is trying to be 7 kids, trying to be everything for somebody else. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. So yeah, ladies, when we start screaming about the soft life and walking in your feminine energy, you have to reevaluate you. Are you ready for that?
Right, because it comes with some stuff. And this is the thing, when we're asking men, like, well, what can you do for me? We don't stop to think about the other side of what we are then responsible for. Like you're saying, what are we signing up for? And like Anitra said, we aren't to be everything for the man. We are meant to help. And that's a good point. But at the same time, I'm big on clarifying and defining. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, make it make sense for me, because what's everything to one man is going to be different than what's everything for another man. So, and when me being everything for you, even me being your helpmate, if we are jointly fit and aligned, y'all know that while this is not necessarily a Christian channel, we are God girls. So, that's what we rest in. That's who we rely on and who we rest in. That's where we get our guidance from. But I firmly believe that when you align properly with the person, with your purpose partner, as your husband says, which I don't even believe I just said that, but still, I'm like, I'm needing him to rub off. That's a story for another time. We're not gonna go there today. Everything that he needs is in you, because in order for you to help properly, you have to have what he needs, or it's not helping. You're just occupying space, or you're just wasting time. So everything that he needs is going to be in him, and you will be jointly fit, and everything will, I want to say, and I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but there will be a smooth cohesion between you, where each person is getting what they need. And also, just because I have everything that you need in me, when do you need it? Do you need me to be all these things right now? Because I'm looking at not just right now, but I'm looking at you in the future. I'm looking at, do I have the capacity for you for later? So these are the things that we have to consider. Ladies, this conversation on tonight is really to make us start thinking about how we are presenting ourselves when we're putting that question out there. And D, if you're available, come on and jump in, sis.
Give me
I know
5
she's traveling.
seconds. Yeah, no, I'm
Oh,
home. Give me 5 minutes. Give me not
all
even
right.
5.
No,
Come on, y'all do it good. I'll jump in after that. I'm coming.
all right. Take your time. Take your time, sis. We got this. Um, but it's just really important. And I wanted us to kind of, on this platform, my goal and our intention is always to break up the things that separate us. We have to change our mentalities somewhere along the way. And we're not responsible for anybody else but ourselves. However, I'm like, ladies, it has to start somewhere. So if we start fixing us, if we start healing us, we will be able to show up better for the men. Now, like Anitra said, us being a helpmate, you can't be mad. If we're meant to be a helpmate, you cannot be mad when the man needs your help. I'm gonna leave that right there. Because if that's the case, you can't be mad when he needs you to be his sounding board. But we're so busy saying, well, what can you do for me? Well, sis, what are you gonna do for him? We can't be mad if we're here to help when he is needing us to be his safe place, to be that lap that he can cry on and break down, that shoulder that he can lean on. You can't be mad and be like, bruh, come on, this with the waterworks, like get it together. I'm not saying let him cry for 4 days, but I'm just saying after a certain point, I'm like, baby, I'm gonna need you to get up now. I need you to get it together. It's gonna be all right, but these are the things that we have to think of when we are asking the man, what can you do for me? That leaves a man feeling like he is just a service. He's providing a service. And this is why a lot of our men feel unappreciated. They feel like they're just a wallet. They feel like they are just there to just give us what we want, and they're not getting things in return. Keena says you have to be kind and humble and respectful. I absolutely agree. 1000%. You have to be kind. And truthfully, ladies, some of us are not kind. I know that we all want to know what a man can do for us. I'm going to say we want to know what a man can do for us. But I want to say that we have to stop leading with that question. We have to stop approaching them with this one-sided mentality, because we should be entering into this in partnership and in relationship, not in confusion, not in we shouldn't be in anything else but love and respect, and Keena said, kind, humble, and respectful. You got to give what you want to receive. But we definitely have to stop making men feel some kind of way. They are not here to just support us, and it's not one-sided. Psalmist Voice says that part.
Yeah.
I also want to go ahead.
And you said something there, is that we have to stop leading with that. And the thing is, relationships are for grown people. Relationships are for grown people, and marriage is for the really grown people.
What?
Because there's no way you could go into a partnership with someone, to merge your life with someone, and you're constantly looking at what you're going to get out of it. Our whole purpose on this earth is to be servants. So in a marriage, you're not self-seeking. You're constantly thinking about the other person and how you can help them. How is what you're doing on a daily going to benefit them? So Alicia said, if we're not asking or we're not leading with that, what are we going to be leading with? Well, what you're leading with is, how can I help this person? If this is the man that you're looking at, that you want to marry, who you're looking to lead you, how can I help you lead our family? How can I help you be the best version of you? How can I help you achieve your goals, desires, and your dreams? Now, on the flip side of that, that means he's thinking the same way about you. You're not just, it's not just one-sided and everything is about him. But in a marriage, you also have to understand that there's tables, and the table turns constantly. Mm-hmm. One season it may be about pushing him and achieving his dream or his goal at this point, and then it flips, and then it's about you. It goes back and forth, because it's an even exchange constantly. But you have to be in a mature space a healed space where you can actually serve and be considerate of what the other person needs, because it's not about you. It's about the betterment of the family, a betterment of the marriage. How is your marriage serving, resembling, and edifying God? Because I'm telling you, a lot of times you legit have to say, look here, Jesus. Nah, this come on. I need some answers. Give me some direction and some guidance, because what you want to do, what you think that is the right thing may not necessarily be the right thing. It might not be what they need at the time, as Dawn said. You might have everything that they need, but it might not be the season for that. You might have the answer, but now might not be the time for you to give the answer. So you have to lean on God and lean to his understanding and how to do those things and how to express what it is that you want, need, and see.
And that's absolutely true. I agree with that. I just want to share, like you brought up the point of service, of servitude, of serving. It's something that we had to leave it, and we've all been married. I've been married, you're married, and Dee has been married. One thing that I've learned, and I did not always have this mentality, is that I don't want to approach a relationship with when you lead with what can you do for me. Again, it speaks to, like Deshaun said, about it being all about you. It's just about you. I know you want to know what you're going to get out of it, but that when we lead with that way, that tells me you still need some healing. You still some issues and some places that you still need to work out, because you are coming into it still remembering, or with some residue of what you didn't get the last time, or the time before that, or the time before that. So you automatically want to come in like, I ain't wasting no time today. What are you going to do for me? Because I'm not going through what I went through before, and I've been there. I've done that. I've said that. And, all in retrospect, it was coming from the place of where I was hurt last and I did not yet heal. So of course, up front, I want to know, well, what you going to do for me? Well, what is that? And so I had to go sit down and have several seats. And then I had to go get myself healed and really do the work on the inside and be like, listen, bro, you as fine as tomorrow, but guess what? I can't fool with you right now, because the version of me that you're about to get is broken. I didn't want to keep showing up broken. I didn't want to keep showing up using you as my Band-Aid, as my gap filler. Because it did not yield anything at all. So to me, when we lead with that question, again, it's coming from a hurt place. Now, I will say this, it also comes from a place of, sis, we got to make better choices. We got to make better choices. Because as fine as he is, if you know that his character and integrity is not at the place where you need it to be, stop and back away. Like, make that choice. You've been doing good by yourself all this time. So it's not like you're missing anything. When you have you full, you don't have to worry about who's approaching you or missing out on anything, because you won't miss out on a thing. What you want to do is be with somebody who's going to add to you, who's going to help you. What I've learned to do is I lead with serving. When I am in a relationship, or when I'm considering a relationship or thinking of someone, my thing is, how do I fit in your life? What can I bring to you that's going to help? This is what I'm saying. I don't need him to say anything yet. I'm trying to figure out for myself. If I'm looking at you and like, I got nothing for you, it's not going to fit. It's not going to work. Because I need to be in a place where I can put all my gifts to work. I need to be in a place where I can pour my oil out and know that it's going to produce what it needs to produce, in you and for you and through you. So I'm not going to keep pouring my oil in places that I know that it's not going to yield anything. It's going to be wasted. So again, we have to make better choices. That's something that we are responsible for and have to do. And in turn, I'm not looking for a man who will come and I don't want to hear all of that, all the extra stuff, all the yin yang. Y'all know how we do. You know how it happens. I don't want to hear all that. I've learned to want someone who can look at me and say, this is what I see. This is what I want to be to you. This is This is what I want to add to you. This is how I see you. When they speak of you, when they speak of their future and you're in it naturally, and they're talking about, oh, when I do this, yeah, and when we do, and let it flow naturally, that's a man who sees you as an additive to their life, So that right there, to me, should knock down the defenses of what can you do for me, because he's already telling you, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to be this for you. I'm going to be that for you. I'm going to be this to you. Welcome, ND. You sat down, Mama?
I am sitting down. You guys have been doing awesome.
Come on in.
So, one, I don't know what it is to be barefoot and pregnant, because I always had a pair of expensive shoes on my feet. So unfortunately, I don't know if I want to go back to that, because I have never been that. That's the first thing. The second thing, I was listening to my sister. She was giving some tea about some stuff about relationships. I think that one of the things that and I think I'm gonna be the one that's gonna make us turn left and go
okay.
to the other side.
That's normal.
Somebody got to do
normal.
it. Somebody got to do it.
Amen. Okay. All right. No problem. So I think that when you ask that question about what do we want? I think the question is, and even before we get to what we have to offer, the first question really is, who are you? Because if you don't know who you are, how are you expecting to get something from somebody that you don't even know that you need or want or have even ascertained? What can you do for me? Well, I mean, I think that that's a question that we've asked for so long that it loses the consensus of what it looks like, because that becomes like, what can you do for me? All of a sudden shifts the conversation to a defensive mechanism. Now you already started off on the wrong foot. What can you do for me? And not, because I used to ask that question before I got saved. Before I knew the Lord, I used to ask, like, what you want? What you gonna do for me? But as I've gotten older, I realized I don't know if, because one, I know who I am. So when you know who you are, what you can do for me is not a question that you ask somebody, because you know who you are. You've evolved to becoming what you want, or you're evolving. I think part of that question being asked is that question. It's a good question. What can you do for me? If I was an employer, yes, because there's a fair good of exchange. Like, what could you do for my company? Which would be instead of me, it would be my company. What can you bring to the table? I think that question determines on what space you're in to determine what the response will be. The problem, I'm getting ready to get in trouble. Okay.
Go ahead. Turn the corner. Turn the corner.
I'm literally getting up there. I see my brother head and I see his head. And I don't even see his face, but I see the big blur.
Listen, he walked over here and said Brown had a baby. I said Brown had a baby.
Brown ain't had no baby. Shut up.
It's not his turn.
Rachel, my grandbaby is here.
Tell him the men's lounge is coming there later in the month. It's not his turn.
Yeah, tell him, go sit down somewhere. I think for me, the problem is we don't know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
I think that culture, I think society, I think religious, spirituality, I'm putting them because they two separate things, but some people get them confused. Yes, so I think the culture, I think culture, I think culture, because I'm trying to stay focused. Culture, spirituality, religion, life, trauma, family, all have a didactic that they play in this. And I think the problem is that we've evolved to a culture, a society of what can you do for me will determine what I can do for you.
Right.
Which will equate to why there's so many miserable single women and men. Because there is no we don't know what we want. We're not coming to the table. My conversation that I had with a gentleman I was dating, I was real clear from the beginning. Listen, I know how to make money. I just don't know how to save it. I know how to make it. I know how to spend it. Not how to pay the bills. But I struggle with saving because I'm a single mom, so I always had to. But I came to the table, and one of the things we don't want to do is honesty. We don't want to be honest. We don't want to be honest with people. People be our representatives of our representatives of our representatives. It's four representatives. They meet the fourth in line representative, maybe the fifth or sixth, depending on where you are mentally and emotionally. They never get to meet who you are. And I think once we realize that, okay, I'm going to shift. I'm done. I'm trying to be nice. I'm done. Once we realize that we need to stop being a representation of something that we will never be. We make ourselves look like we are a Instagram model, a Facebook hottie, a TikTok tot. We have these envisions of being something that we're not. I could tell, and one of the things we don't do very well is that we don't listen very well. Because we would save ourselves a lot of time if we listen, because the true nature of a person will come through their words. What can you do for me? What can you do for me is be honest, because I'm coming honest. And if you bring the best presentation of who you are to the beginning, then you don't have to worry about being bamboozled later. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna hold myself. Let me hold myself. Let me hold myself. Let me get myself together. Ooh, shit.
But listen, so she touched on something when you stuck at culture for a minute, and I thought you were going to kind of run with it and go. Like the culture, the society, the way society has transformed has messed us up. Like it has really messed us up. And that's why we're at this place right now where everyone is, what can you do for me? Because the reality of it is, as women, when you're doing it all by yourself, when a man comes to you, you're like, hey, what you got to bring to the table? Because I could do all this by myself. What will adding you to my life add to my life? And as crazy as it is that we are there, we're there because this is the norm in society. We're used to having to carry the world on our shoulders, being single mothers, having to work, take care of household, take care of kids, doing whatever it is that we do in the church. We're used to being the lead and being the head of the household. So for us, adding a man is kind of like a luxury. It's kind of like a new purse. And that's not where we should be. It's not where we should be at all. A husband isn't a purse. He isn't an accessory, to your life. And that's the mindset that we have when it's what can you do for me versus how can we walk in purpose together? How can we enhance each other? I see your wheels turning. Come on, sis.
So I was trying to behave myself, but okay. So let me go.
What? You don't do that no other
time. I'm trying.
All right, wait. So let me before she goes there, let me just see if I could get some of the comments in here because I want to make sure. So I'm gonna give Brown a minute.
Yeah, I'm writing some of the comments down. I think a young lady asked about.
Yeah, there's a question. There's a few questions.
I can see it.
So, yeah, I want to make sure to get them up. But
all right, so.
I just want to make sure, and then we're going to address them also. There is a way to present this question in a safe way that you will get the answer that you need without being offensive and defensive. And I just want to add to also, when you were talking about culture and family, the didactic that it adds, a lot of us take that defensive stance because we have learned from wounded women. You have yet to experience anything, but because the woman that you have been taught by has been wounded many times, she's already building up a defense in you because she doesn't want you to repeat what she's already gone through. But the truth of the matter is, you may not, because you're going to make other choices. You're not going to make the very same choice that other people have made, So, okay, where's the question? It was Anitra. Okay, my girl. So, I'm going to yield to ND. Do you want to share first, and then I'm going to then we can address the question.
So I was looking for Anitra because she asked a question. She said, "What should she be looking for?" I saw that one. I didn't know you could do the comments on the side. I just learned something. I'm smart.
Yeah, we see them before they get posted up. They can't see what we see until we post them.
What? Mighty God.
So dating, my question is daily
So
when we
there's a few things. So one, Mama Ava said marriage is a ministry. Before we can even get to ministry, because we become so churchy. We become so churchy that we make everything a ministry. Marriage is a ministry. But before you can understand what ministry looks like, how about we start to deal with the totality of life? And you was right, Dawn, about culture. When some of us, I was raised by what you call a strong epitome of a Black woman. I promise you, there was nobody stronger than my mama. I think the first time I saw my mama cry was when my grandfather died, and I wasn't even sure how to handle that, because she had never shed a tear in my entire childhood until that moment. So it left me paralyzed. But I also have realized, before I can get to a marriage and ministry, the first ministry is me.
Mm-hmm.
The first ministry is me. From a cultural perspective, I have to address the fact that they have this thing that if you're a smart Black woman, you angry Black woman syndrome. So first we got to deal with what they say, angry Black woman, and then we have to deal with the totality of how we may have been raised. Everyone didn't come from a 2-parent family. I came from, my parents was are still very much alive, but they were separate, very different teaching arrangements. But then life happens, and then as we go on in life, and I teach about this, that we don't grieve the problems that we have. We don't grieve them. We only grieve when it comes to death, and that is death of a casket. But we don't grieve the relationships that we in, and then we wind up, no matter how much we say we set free and we deliver and we trauma free, I promise you there's something in the background that has not been brought to the forefront yet. You know why? Because you're not in a place to handle it. You're not in a place of maturity to handle it where you would not regress. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil tonight, because I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, there are things that I did not know that I was still dealing with until I got to a point in my life where God showed it to me. And I'm telling you, I'm dealing with some stuff at 54 that there's no way I could have dealt with it in my 30s and my 40s. There's no way. I was married for 11 years. I used to say I married the wrong man. No, I didn't marry the wrong man. I didn't know what marriage was because there was no examples of what marriage looked like. But then I realized I'm looking for an example that doesn't exist, because everybody's marriage is unique. It's unique according to those two individuals. And the problem is that we keep trying to mimic something that does not exist. Because we are two different people. We're marrying based on different terms and circumstances. And then once we get married, we forget that we have to evolve with the relationship. Who we marry, or who we were all goo goo gaga about as we were courting, now we married to that dusty Negro. And I said dusty Negro because sometimes they be dusty after they get married. They let their waist go. And they talk about us. They forget they get little jelly bellies. You know what I'm saying? They get a little flat footed. They don't put no lotion on no more. They don't go through the whole step of making sure they beards, and they get a little lackadaisical too. They talking about us. At least we buy the wigs and we don't want to comb in our braids, but you understand what I'm saying. The bottom line is that we forget that there's evolution that takes place. From a cultural perspective, we mad and we're angry and we're carrying things that are not ours. When we talk about ministry, ministry is part of all of that. We are so busy being religious and being spiritual that we don't understand the totalities of what it is that we're dealing with. And a lot of us, we are just wheels going around and around, going nowhere, feeling that we're going somewhere. We're on the, like a mole. What is that? What's the little thing? Hamster. We're on the hamster wheel. We're on the hamster wheel. And part of it is that we asking people, what can you do for me? Why I gotta ask you what you gonna do for me? I just need to see how you move. I'll know how you move based on how you handle yourself. I'll see how you move based on how you engage with me. I'll see how you move based on how situations happen. When a crisis happens, and can I count on you to be there? Maybe not financially, but just need to be there, be an emotional
Ministry of
support. And the
presence.
problem is that we don't want to be emotionally available, because we are fearful that somebody is going to break us down. But I thought we said we were healed. I thought we said we have forgiven. I thought we said we were delivered. The Black Jesus delivered me. But you are scared to even be vulnerable with somebody that you meet. I met somebody, I told him from the door, look, what we gonna do? He was like, Nina, I'm not gonna date you. My intentions is not just to date you. Okay, that's fine. But what's your intentions? I ain't said nothing. What's your intention? You're telling me, if he said his exact words to me, if you're expecting me to just be your friend and that's it, you're wasting your time. Okay. So he told me from the door his intentions is to be my husband. I ain't mad. But let me tell you what happened. I ain't said nothing. I said no problem. And that moment, here it is. Here's the powerful word. I submitted to what he said when he said it. I took all the bass out of my voice because I got a little bass sometimes. Woo, woo, woo. I know, come on, sis. I took the bass out of my voice. He was like, my intention is to, okay. I said, no problem, boo. All right. Whatever you say. But then I sat back and watched how he started to move. I ain't said nothing. I ain't have to ask him what he could do for me. He told me from the door what he wanted to do. As he said. And sometimes you just got to let people talk and take your hands off. We shouldn't have to ask what you're going to do for me. I ain't asking nobody what they're going to do for me. I can buy my own Tiffany's. I could take my own self to a 5-star restaurant. I've bought $1,000 shoes. I've done all of those things. It's not about what he can do for me, because all of the materialistic things I got covered. I could do that. What can he do for me that I cannot do for myself is the question. But I don't know what I can do for myself, because I've not put myself in a place to allow a man to be able to prove that he can do something for me outside the scope of what I can do.
And that is
Listen,
all.
let me throw
Good.
this out there, because you mentioned something about not wanting to be vulnerable and thinking that we're healed. Let's talk about how we put up the walls and then say we're healed, but you're only healed because you're not letting anybody in. You're healed because you're constantly working from a place of defense and protection. Until you meet somebody that busts through all of those walls, all of those bricks, that's when you get challenged in what you need to heal from.
Lord
Because
Jesus.
when you operate by yourself, oh yeah, you heal because you operate by yourself. You on your own terms. Hey, so you get in relationship with people. I can even say my sisters. Even
I would
these
say,
two.
Let him spend the night and eat the last of your Cocoa Pebbles. Girl!
Listen.
He shouldn't be spending the night, but I'm just saying. Did he sleep late? Y'all hanging out?
I wasn't going to mention that. We wasn't going to talk about it.
Listen, we adults here. We listen. The truth of the
You
matter
life is life.
water and there
Life is
is no
life.
water.
Right. We listen. Everybody ain't super saved, because y'all super saved folks.
No, listen, we human and we real.
Y'all adults. Y'all hanging out. It's late. You may pass out on the couch.
Life is gonna be lifing. Life is gonna be lifing.
And he like Cocoa Pebbles like you do, because I love Cocoa Pebbles. And he drink the last of your Cocoa Pebbles. You talk about you heal. I don't mind sharing. Let him eat the last little bit of Cocoa Pebbles. I promise you, you gonna snap and be ready to throw that boy out.
Crackle and pop.
Let me say this though. You don't mind sharing until you actually have to share. That's number one.
And it's involuntary.
Right. And number two, and at that point, you sharing with an attitude, because now you sharing because you're trying to keep your word, and like bro knows the vibe, because your whole body posture done changed. You already giving off them angry vibes now. Like, I'm gonna give you might get like 4 in your bowl, buddy. Because I got 6. But we share until only until you don't have to. Deshaun, you made a good point about we've healed. We say we're healed. But we still have those walls up. We're healed because we have the walls. We're not letting anybody in. And in my book, in my understanding, that's not healing. You just wounded with walls. That's all. You haven't healed at all. You got to let yourself in. When I tell you, and I've been there, I won't even go there because I'm trying to tell on myself and not telling myself. So hold on, let me pause. Let me just greet some people in the comments. Vaughn, Eric, where's your faith? It's good to see you in the house, bro. Mama Ava, you my favorite lady every day of the week. I love me some Mama Ava. Thank you for tuning in today. You guys like, subscribe, and share. It is not too late. Bring a friend into the place. We are taking it by storm tonight. That's right. We coming in hot and heavy, starting off January off. We going to make sure that by the end of the year, we're not going to be the same as when we started this year and the year just started. We're going to get it right from the gate. So what I will say is I've been that person that's wounded with walls. I've been that person. And I had to sit myself down for real. And again, I'm telling on myself, but not telling on myself. But I've been told that I'm.
Tell them. No,
it's like
tell truth, shame the devil.
Right. You was also serving in ministry. You was doing all those things, and you was still wounded. You was affected, but you was still wounded. Come on here.
That's a whole nother. Listen, okay, I'm not even gonna tell the truth.
That's a whole nother day.
I'm gonna tell the truth and shame myself. That's what. Never mind the devil. He ain't getting no credit here. I'm telling the truth and shaming myself. I absolutely ministered for years, broken, wounded. My spirit was in dust. The only thing that I could say in that aspect was I would pray, God, don't let me bleed on the people. Just help me get me together enough to do what you asked me to do, because I still had to serve regardless. I could not help where I was in that place of my healing, of my journey, or in my pain. Because I wasn't yet in healing. I was still, going in my pain. But honestly, in those moments, that was the only thing that kept me. All I had was my worship. All I had was my service to God. That was the only thing that kept my mind from snapping to the other side. That's the only thing that kept my heart from going cold worship with God. Every and anything else was so far gone and removed, it didn't even make any kind of sense. So yeah, I operated for a long time, wounded with walls. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But what I did also was I got to the place where I would sit myself down. I would sit my whole self down. I sat myself down many times. I sat myself down more times than you would even imagine. And my sister and my mother, they can vouch for that. And they would be like, who sits themselves down? This girl. Because I didn't want to do that anymore. Right. I already knew where I was at, But the thing is, you get to a place in healing. The first place in healing you have to get to is admitting. And when you can finally face yourself and be able to look at your wounds and acknowledge them, because I didn't want to look at the things that were hurting me, because what I saw was what I allowed to happen to me. Because the person is only going to do to you what you allowed them to do to you. So you got to get to the place where you are willing to look at your wounds and own what you contributed to the situation, whether it was by allowing it to be or just not protecting yourself. Some things happen, because they happen.
You just talked about being
that's where you got to get. For me, that's where you start to get. That's the first. Huh?
No, I said you're talking about being an adult. That's an adult.
That for me.
That is.
Yes, absolutely. You have to. A lot of us are functioning. Okay, you can hear me now? Okay, good. It's about being an adult. It's about looking at your own wounds and admitting them and owning them. And then you can start healing from them. And I had to sit myself down with my walls. I had to break down my own walls to an extent in order to get myself into a position where I was willing to be able to be loved again, where I was willing to want to be able to be loved or cared for again. I had to learn how to forgive myself first so that I'm not leading from a defensive place and space. And that's where it really begins. And once I started doing that, I didn't have that mentality of what can you do for me anymore. That's when I switched, because just because I made a bad choice, good decision to get married, bad choice in who I decided to marry. Because I knew we were not fit. I already knew what I was getting myself to. That was me. But once I owned that and I fixed that and I healed from that, then I was able to open up and say, okay, now I'm really ready to love the right way and be loved the right way. I still got a little bit of Fort Knox happening. You know, I'm coming out of my shell a little bit at a time, you know, but we also have to give ourselves grace as you are working through the things that put you in this space to be able to stop the defense mechanism of, you know, what can you do for me? I know how to show up now with serving first, and I choose better. Now I choose to be with someone who is worthy of my pour. Anybody just want to jump in?
Let me exhale for a second. Yeah. So you said so many things that was vital. And one of the things that I'm going to put it all together is a place of being, besides mature, but being an adult for real.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to talk about ministry, you cannot expect someone to show up for you and you haven't shown up for yourself. You just can't. You cannot. There's no way that you're going to be successful in anything if you've not shown up for yourself. And one of the things that I think that we don't ask God is to show us. Look, I don't think that a lot of people ask God to do that. That people always say, "Well, the Lord showed me," and I'm gonna tell you how you know. And this is the God's honest truth. How you know someone has been in the face in the face of the Lord in regards to themselves. They won't have to tell you that God has done some things in them. You will see it. It will be evident that God has been doing some internal work on them by the way they move, by the way they handle, by the way they respond. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. And I can say this publicly because Lady Dawn has known me for a very long time.
Yes, ma'am.
A very long time.
In real life.
In real life. And the first time she met me, I was preaching in the church. I rebuked the bishop of the church. Yes. I rebuked the organist, the drummer, the whole church. I rebuked.
Yes, she did.
And I wasn't nice about it.
No, not at all.
I actually went back and preached for him a few times before he passed on. However, when I tell you my mouth, not everybody. My brother used to call me Prophet Profanity. Because I could prophesy you underneath a building and cuss you out with the same tongue. I promise you I was lethal. I still am, just in a different manner. Mm-hmm. I got tired of having a dual life. So the topic, what can I do for me? The topic I could do for me was for me to be honest with me. In the totality that there was some stuff I needed to deal with. I can't expect a man to come into my life and rescue me. What is he rescuing me from?
I went to bed.
What is he rescuing me from? I don't want to be rescued. I want to be in a partnership. Because when somebody rescues you, it makes you feel like you're obligated to them. Like you're indebted to them because they've done something for you. But if you meet somebody and it's a partnership, then the obligation is equal to each other sometimes, but not all the time. Because there will come a time where the weight may be more for you than it is for him, and vice versa. And I think that we have to show up differently.
Yeah.
We can't
And it's
expect
always in
somebody
mind,
to
and
do
you know,
something for
I'm
us
on
that
my
we're
mind
not
up.
willing to do for them.
Get you a job.
And I got it.
learn some
Who
life
doesn't
lessons,
want to be
but
wined and dined? But men want to be wined and dined
to
too.
learn some life
Say
Maybe
that
not
again.
the same
Say,
manner. Right. There are men who like gifts.
say it
Let me
again.
tell you something. There was a man I knew, and I never thought that he liked gifts because he was always giving. Until I made him take I made him take the 5 love language test, and found out that he loved gifts. It was befuddled to me. And sometimes we have to pay attention to the minor details, and we don't. We don't pay attention to the details for ourselves. So how can we pay attention to the details to somebody else? You want to know what a person can do for you? How about you take the time to study that individual that you want to be with?
Mm-hmm.
When you study an individual, sometimes you don't have to say a word. You just will know.
My mama cooked the other night, and
You will know. You don't have to. What can you do for you? What can you do for you is sitting yourself down somewhere and doing a self-assessment of you. What is it that you're expecting from someone? But also, what is it that you expect for yourself? What do you expect? Because I can't expect somebody to show up for me, and I'm not showing up for myself. That means that person, it's like I got another parent. I'm not sleeping with my parent. No, we don't. Nobody want to talk to me. Ain't nobody.
No, we listen. We with you.
I'm not sleeping with my parent. I'm sleeping with my partner who I'm supposed to build with. And now that I'm older, I ain't having no more babies. The only baby I'm gonna get is a 4-legged dog. That's it. 4 legs. I'm not having no more children. So my parenting now is done. I'm looking for someone that I can do something with. You gotta identify what you is. You can't talk about you want a man with no kids and you got kids. Like, be realistic. You can't talk about you want to do with 6 figures and you only making $15,000 a year. What that look like? You can't talk about you want a man with benefits and you don't have none. You can't cook. You can't clean. You don't house clean. You don't know how to shop. You don't know how to balance a checkbook. You can't expect these things from someone else. Then if you're not prepared to get it, if you're not prepared to tell a dude, listen, I don't like cleaning, but I hate a dirty house.
Buy one, get one.
I don't like cleaning, but I hate a dirty house. I promise you, I'm about to switch the term financially. I'm about to hire me somebody to clean for me. I don't like it. And I'm not being bougie. I'm just honest about what it is about me.
That's not bougie. That's real.
But I hate a dirty house.
Yeah, I spoke to today.
Let me tell you something. At one point, you would never catch me in the same outfit within the 6 months period of time. I'm not, these are the things I like. And I can't expect somebody to come to the table that doesn't understand the totality of who I am as a woman. I would love for him to buy me Tiffany's, but hold on, he ain't got to, because I could buy my own.
Right. And that's not what you're here for.
But that's not, right. I'm not looking for him to take care of me in a sense. I'm looking for him to pay attention to me. So
right.
if I don't have to ask him what I want, I don't have to tell him, well, you know, I want this for, I want a Hermes bag for Christmas, and I want some Gucci loafers, and I want to take a trip to, I don't want to have that. If he studies me like I study him, I'm going to know who his favorite football team is. I'm going to know. Can I just put this caveat? I think it's very important for a woman to have women friends, for her husband to have male friends, for them to have individual time alone, time together, and time with others.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You're not listening to me.
Absolutely. No, we're with you.
Balance.
It's balance.
We don't have balance. We don't have balance. I think every healthy relationship, a man must have an outlet. He must have respectable friends. that respect the sanctity of your relationship because they got their own. I'm not talking about the dusty bros that in their 50s and 40s thinking that they 15 and 12. I'm talking about men who understand. They may not be married, but they respect and honor the integrity of their friend's relationship and will never put him in a compromising position and check him if he acting half crazy. The same with our girlfriends. We should have girlfriends that love us enough to tell us, you know, you don't need to be looking at bruh man across the street from the 5th floor. But
Well,
we don't
you know,
put
that's
those
when you got friends that are doing that, you know.
I'm not saying that you can't have a good time, but there should be some boundaries of respect for yourself first. All of these things go into what you're asking for. You cannot expect all of these things and you're not prepared to give them or even be able to identify what they look like. There are women who will probably hear this, and I'm going to say it, that are still broken. They are living off of broken pieces, trying to make it whole. Talk about they waiting for their Boaz. He dead. He not coming back to life. You be better off getting you a George, a Henry, a Bob, but not no Boaz.
We're not going back to Boaz.
Right. I need people to stop being so, and I need y'all to stop being so spiritually deep. Because y'all gonna miss God, but y'all also gonna miss living. Because y'all supposed to, well, I'm waiting for the Lord to send me a sign. He done sent you one. You ain't ready to be a wife. You're not ready to be a husband. Because you've not done some cleanup in your back room. You got a storage room that's full of stuff. Memories, broken relationship, family issues, childhood trauma, adulthood trauma, relationship baggage. Clean out your back room. Because I'm telling you, if you come into the table with 25 bags, dude may got 30 on his own. And that's not including his man pouch and his backpack. That's his 20-some-odd piece luggage that he got tailgating behind him. So between his 20 piece and your 32 piece, y'all in the studio, how y'all gonna live? Where y'all gonna do all that luggage? Ask questions in the beginning. What's going on? Like, tell me about your family. He got mommy and daddy issues. Figure out how that's gonna work. Do he want somebody breast to suck on because he's not off of milk? Or can he hold the glass on his own?
But it is really important. It is really important that you take care of you, that you mind you. You know, it is essential that you deal with your stuff first. Because like you're saying, you come into the table with a whole bunch of stuff and you're asking the other person what they can do for you. And you're expecting that person to carry all your weight, to manage your issues. And you're not willing to do the same for them, but you're not even equipped to do anything for them. You have no strength of your own to take care of you. So if we're each dealing with our stuff and we come into the table with a lighter load, and then we are helping each other navigate through stuff, because sometimes you may have gone through something that I have not yet dealt with. So if I'm with somebody that I can trust, I will listen to you, you know, as you share and help me navigate my stuff. In turn, I'm able to do the same for you when you hit something that I have not yet dealt, you know, that you have not yet dealt with, but I walked through, you know. But it's key, like you said, that we make sure that we are dealing with us first and try to come to the table with the least amount of bags and scars and all of those things, you know, before we enter in. Because again, you know, part of us asking, what can you do for me, is because of that. We're bringing baggage that doesn't belong to the person that's trying to be with us now. We're bringing issues. We're bringing our hurts. We're trying to make the new person responsible for the old person stuff. And the old person stuff, it only happened because we allowed it to. So it comes back, you know, to self, and we have to be very, very careful and mindful. And I want to yield to Sean, but I also want to say, you know, in the question, what can you do for me? one of the points, or one of the main points that brought this question to mind too, is the fact that when we say this, like, ladies, are we selling the wrong thing and putting prices on our love and our life when we ask this question? That part. Are we selling? Because that's what you're doing. We come into a point of we gonna at the negotiation table. What you gonna do for me depends on how much of me I'm gonna give to you. And then you wonder why a man won't give you his heart, or you want a man to give you his heart, but you're not willing to give him anything more than this price list of things. You pay my rent, I love you for this. Or, you pay my car note, yeah, I'll take care of the house. That's not the kind of negotiating that we should be doing. And you wonder why men are not going after your heart. You wonder why men are not trying to cover you as you may expect. You wonder why men are not trying to invest in you as in more than a good time, because we are putting, or those of us who do this, putting ourselves in a position to be bought, whether we realize it or not. We're coming to the table as a bargaining chip, as a possession, as a service. And yet you wonder why this man can so easily have no respect for you. Why he is not willing to treat you like the lady that you believe that you should be. Well, sis, what did you approach him with? What bait did you use to get his attention? Because whatever you use to catch the fish is what you're going to have to use to keep feeding the fish in order for the fish to grow. I'm just saying. I'm going to let Deshaun jump in. I'm just saying.
Now that's good. What kind of bait are you using? Quiet.
She's using, be careful.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful, because let's be honest, ladies. If you know your conversation with this man that you're seeking and you're asking these questions to, and his conversation kind of turns a little left, and it starts to sound a little strip clubbish, let's bargain, let's will and deal. I mean, then you're setting yourself up for a situation. We always say we want to be taken care of, but at what cost? Let's be real. At what cost are you being taken care of? What do you value yourself at? And I'm gonna be honest. When I was younger, I didn't think about this. I didn't think about what was my value to myself. How valuable was I to me? Mm-hmm. What was it worth? What was I willing to deal with? I just knew I wasn't dealing with nobody else's mess. I got enough of my own, so I'm not gonna deal with yours. So you got to bring something to the table. You got to come to the table with something. But at the same time, you come to the table with something. What else am I dealing with? So then you end up in a situation. I think it was Anitra who said she was married for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And he was a great provider, but she was lonely. She was broken. And who knows, whatever else she didn't, mention the things that you go through, because we put ourselves in those situations because you just want to be taken care of. Oh, you're taken care of financially. He may even be taking care of you physically. But then the rest of you dies. The rest of you dies, and you have no value, no self-worth. And that's how we end up in these spaces where we don't know who we are anymore. Because you've forsaken everything because this man is taking care of you. That you let everything else go because he's paying the bills. And the sex it's okay. It might even be good. But on the flip side of that, he cheating. He ain't at home. He talking to you any old kind of way. You unfulfilled in the relationship and in life. So what is it worth? What is it worth? And those are the things that we have to be honest with ourselves about. So when we get to those spaces and we hit rock bottom, because that's when most of us hit rock bottom, is after we go through that real bad relationship and it takes everything out of us. And you have to rebuild yourself. And then you have the mentality of what you going to do for me. Because you're trying to avoid being back in that situation. You're trying to avoid losing yourself again. And the reality is you never knew who you were in the beginning. That's why you allowed yourself to be in a situation, which is back to what ND said.
Right.
We don't know who we are. And we don't take the time to figure out who we are because we keep so many people around us. We're constantly hanging out with friends. We in the church. We going out. We at school. We doing all of this stuff that you don't spend any alone time with yourself. You don't give God or yourself or your own thoughts any time to tell you or show you anything. So how can we sit there and say, oh, I did the work? When? At 2 o'clock at the club when the lights came on? When you woke up in the morning, you was brushing your teeth to go to work? Or when you took a nap? When you were sleeping, you thought about how empty you were. Like, it doesn't work. You have to really get comfortable with spending time with you. I've talked to so many women older than me that have said they've never been out to dinner by themselves. They can't sit in silence and sit by themselves. That's how you know you haven't done the work. You can't dare begin to say that you're healed or you know who you are. When you can't sit in silence by yourself, I cringe at not being able to sit in silence sometimes. Like, I need it. I need quiet. I need to just be with me. It wasn't always like that.
Right.
But that's how I know that I'm on the right path. That's when I know I could hear my own thoughts. Like, girl, that one, you ain't feeling right today. And you ain't feeling right because you ain't do this. You weren't right. You was mean to them folks today. You need to apologize. But those are those moments when you sitting by yourself and you can mentally reflect, emotionally reflect on you without the noise. We got to get comfortable with us, people. Ladies, the question gets misconstrued. The question has no weight or no validity because we don't know who we are. We don't take the time to pick up the pieces.
Mm-hmm. And the truth is that, we all want someone who can do something for us. Everybody does. But I found that if you do for a man, and not just a man, and we need to stop asking for a man, the man. Ask God, or again, we are not necessarily a Christian network, although we are all Christians. So we reference the source of our contentment, which is God. But ask God to put you in the path with the person that is best built for you and that you're best built for. Because when you get in that space with that person and that kind of person, you won't mind doing for them. You will not mind, and you will know, ladies, I promise you, if we could just get back to this, I promise you, my heart bleeds for this. You can have everything that you want. If you give that man what he needs, you will not have to ask him for anything because he will want to do for you. He will instinctively, and it may not be always, it's not absolute. So don't, I'm not saying it's a perfect utopia, but if we get back to the place of choosing properly, to being in the right space, to, again, knowing who we are, sticking to your standards, waiting for it, and being with the person that is worth you, giving them your all, where you don't mind serving, that man is going to do for you without you having to ask. I can't speak to, and just because she's on a platform, Lady Deshawn and Pastor Bill and Linwood's relationship, but I'm sure just from knowing them the way that I do, and not that it's perfect, and I hope you don't mind, but seeing how they balance each other out, seeing how they complement one another. By pouring into him, he pours back into her. It's reciprocal. You're going to get back. It's going to cycle itself back to you, but it has to start somewhere. We as women have to be, I believe, if we change our mind and our mentalities and start doing the work that we need to do, again, number one, you're not going to keep choosing, as ND says, the Dusty Busters. You're going to wait for that quality person. And if that man is not in that space yet, guess what? And he knows the quality of a woman that you are, he's going to do what he needs to do to get himself together so that he can be in that space with you. Go ahead, ND. You'll hear this. How you stretch it?
No, you said he's not gonna be a dusty buster. Let me say this.
Because we choose those sometimes.
They're gonna be mad.
Saying we won't.
No,
You guys stop choosing.
I'm gonna say this. They're probably gonna be mad at me, but it's okay. There's a such thing as evolution. And I honestly believe, I promise you, this just came to me when you were saying what you were saying, Lady Dawn. There's evolution. We go into something again with a false presentation and assume that this dude, I promise you, I've seen some guys who are decked out in the suit. They can wear a suit, but they can't do nothing with a pair of sneakers and some jeans and the sweatshirt.
Mhm.
They just can't. They just lost. I say that to say that we have to be mindful that, again, a representation. We get this for deep church folks. Y'all go and you see a brother in the suit. It is pressed, ain't got a crease in the crotch. I said it because he ain't sitting down because he don't want no crease in his pants. He ain't got no creases in his jacket because he carried it by the tab inside because he don't want it to get wet.
Right, with the finger.
His shirt is pressed to the nines. Driving a pretty car. And he lived with his mama. Did I say that? Or he lived in a shack, but he driving a $90,000 car. Maybe that's just in New York.
Excuse me.
I think
You said it.
that's in New York. This goes back to not realizing that how we meet them. You need to be able to see them in different facets while you're dating. See, it's quiet. I can hear the church mouse peeing on cotton in the back room with the door closed.
It's good talk. Listen, sometimes we need these Selah moments, like real, because it's a lot when you start to really examine the root of things and have these honest conversations. Like, we not sugarcoating things. The time for sugarcoating stuff is over because it's not helping us get no better. We're not getting anywhere that we need to be, and we're not getting nothing done. So sometimes we got to take those Selah moments. It's like, oh, all right, and just okay. Let me, if you don't have to say ouch. Sometimes just hold your breath. Just be quiet. Just all right. Write it down. Hold it for yourself. But you're talking absolutely right, and we have to be able to see them in different facets, multifacets, different, just like we have to show up different. I could wear you can wear your red bottoms and, need to know, can you throw on some Nikes, a hoodie and
not the ones you painted, not the ones you bought from, not the ones you painted, the ones you paid for. Not the one. Listen, I'm not talking about
make
the
it plain.
Listen, I'm not talking about the fake red bottoms. I'm talking about the ones that start like at $300. The real ones.
The real deal.
Talking about the fake ones.
The real deal. Get talking about the real Jimmy Choos. The Jimmy Childs. You talking about the real JC. Those.
Yeah, and the Giuseppe's. Come on here. Oh shit.
But you gotta be able to. You gotta be able to move in all those facets and see each other in all of those. I know for me, I'm pretty much like, listen, I love being a girly girl. Again, I'll tell y'all this whole 5'5", size 24, 26 on a bad day. I love every inch of me. I'm gonna show up as me all the time, bruh. This is who I am. This is what you're gonna get. you know, it will get better, but it ain't gonna get no worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I ain't got no time to be faking and pretending like this is either you're gonna love it all or you're gonna leave it alone. It's one or the other. You know, either, you know, listen, I'm on my journey. Again, this is the worst that it will ever be. It will only get better from here. But if you like and love where you at right now, and ladies, you have to like and love where you're at right now in imperfect spaces. Imperfect spaces. Every single day we are getting better at who we are, but we are not at the place where we are perfect, and we never will be, ever. When you love you today, you'll be a better you tomorrow. I'm just saying. Don't go to sleep with the makeup on. Let him see who he's getting. You know, listen. That's a whole nother story. I'm not gonna fool with that tonight.
You get up 20 minutes early to brush your teeth and comb your hair and do your face, and then get back in the bed and pray. Don't get on the makeup. Don't.
Nobody doing that.
I need to be able to wipe the coal out of your eye, and you do the same for me. That's because that's real. That's day to day. That's real everyday life. Period. You know, is what it is. Go ahead.
Listen,
Deshaun.
and the thing is, you won't get any better. Finding a man won't make you better at all. It's not going to make you better. If anything, it'll be a demise, because you'll be trying to get to better, but now you're stuck because you're in a compromising space with somebody else that you have to consider. So you'll never reach your full potential of you, because you're constantly trying to meet somebody else's need and you haven't even met your own.
Right.
So work on your better.
Say that again. Say that again. I need you to repeat that again. Repeat that. Say it slow. Come on.
You'll never be better because you're constantly trying to meet someone else's needs and you can't even meet your own. Man.
Selah. I hope you have all enjoyed and gleaned from this conversation on tonight. I told y'all 2024 this year is going to be hot and amazing. I love the Ladies Room Squad. I knew what I was doing when I was doing what I was doing. You know, I know who God put on my heart to be in this space, because we want to be better. We don't want to stay. Enough with staying in the spaces that we are. And if we don't create real spaces that are safe for us to have real conversations, then we are going to continue to be in this cycle of damage and of falseness and of no growth at all. And no one wants that. We have to be willing to peel the layers off, take off our mask. And it's okay to be human, because guess what? The lady sitting next to you, she's just as human. Guess what? The man sitting across from you, he's just as human. Period. Our brothers don't have it all together. We keep putting on this false persona of perfection, as Andy was saying earlier. You know, your representative, and we are competing with each other for no reason, and nobody even wants that. Everybody just wants somebody that's real at the end of the day, but no one's willing to be real, and we have to find a way to break this cycle. So that was a lot of the reason, or part of the reason, or core of the reason for having this conversation on tonight, getting to the point of getting to the root of us asking the question, leading with, what can you do for me? Ladies, we can no longer know that when you are leading with, what can you do for me, to a man, you are putting yourself in a position, because you are presenting yourself as if you are giving him a price list, making an exchange, making it transactional, and there's going to be no love, no heart, no integrity, no respect that is involved. And that is not, you're going to get the opposite of what you want. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in on tonight, for being a part of this great conversation. The Ladies Room will be back again. What can you do for me? Ask you to like, to subscribe, and to share. It is free 99. Ladies, let's make sure we are not selling the wrong things by putting a price on our love and our life. Let's make sure that we are not expecting men to pay all the bills and take care of every single thing with us, and we are not willing to make that exchange. Be mindful, what you ask for is what you need to lead. You need to be able to give. Make your exchange. Know the price before you lead. And don't be surprised. Can't expect that man to give you his heart when all you gave him was a price list. That's not going to work out. So I want to leave space for my amazing sisters to give their final comments. And again, just as a reminder, next week I'll be on at 7 p.m. once more. And again, doing the Redeeming Me series. And I believe this is a good pivotal point. A topic next week is going to be getting out of my own way. This conversation, ladies, is a good start for us to learn how to get out of our own way. It's open to our men. So like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate all of you. Anitra, Mama Ava, Alicia, and Nay, Psalmist Voice, Pastor Chris, Vaughn, Eric. I'm trying to think who else was here. Everybody, Landon, Lady Novoa, those who are up in the silent section who didn't want to come down to the comments. We see you. We love you. We appreciate you just the same. It's safe down here. I promise. My girl, Keena, again, my girl, Anitra, just everybody. I love you guys. Appreciate you. I'm going to yield so that Lady Deshawn can come and give her final comments. And then our Dr. Andy. Don't y'all just love my sisters? My sister, I love them. We can do this all night. Go ahead, Deshawn.
I think for the most part, I'm complete. If you take nothing else away from this conversation, take away, you have to be what you want. Be ready to give what you want to receive. So when you ask the question, what can you do for me? Ask yourself, what are you willing to do for them?
It's on you, Auntie.
Well, let me say this to all of my people in YouTube land. Hallelujah. Bless the Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this to you. This conversation was definitely one for the books, but I want you to do me a favor. Do yourself this for the next couple. Just take some time and do it. Show up for yourself. Start working and showing up for yourself. And how does that look like showing up for yourself? Is one, starting to forgive yourself. For those of you who have a relationship with the Lord, we can do an altar call because I don't know. But anyway, for those of you who have a relationship with the Lord, and even if you don't have one, now would be the great time to develop one. For him to start to show you who you are. And be mindful. Just taking the dosages because you may not like what you see based on what he sees. I promise you, the love that he's going to show you is a love that you have never experienced before. And once you experience the love of God for you, it will change the didactics of how you engage in relationships with the opposite sex or even with those of the same sex. Grace looks very different. Forgiveness looks very different. Kindness looks very different. Being grateful looks very different. All of these things are key to finding out who you are. When you can embrace those things, you can navigate life a little differently, even when warfare comes, because it will come. So I implore you to take some time today, tomorrow, next couple of days. And if you don't, I'm going to pray and ask the Lord to do it anyway, because I just know Black Jesus like that. To knock on your door and start to show you some things about yourself that you need to be better for you first. Because once you show up for you first, others will show up for you more easier than you think. And you won't waste your time picking up weeds thinking that they roses. Good night.
Well, all right. And on that note, yes, mic dropped. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time, for your input, for your pour. Again, it is always a blessing. I'm your Thursday night host, Lady Dawn B. I invite you to join us again, like I said, on Thursday, 1 week from tonight, for the Redeeming Me series. You want to make sure you are in the house on the 18th for the men's lounge. Come on, lean in and hear the brothers and what they have to say. And then come on back and close out January with us on the 25th. We'll be having our authors, Meet the Author series with two wonderful visionaries who have been putting out wonderful literary content. They're going to come and share and pour from their hearts as well. So love you, blessings. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in. Go be great. Be encouraged. And we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me Evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with pens and needles. So lethal, made Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dreams till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up. With the snake hits, get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up. If I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession. Shine a light on my imperfections like a projection. Every struggle and lesson, your issues ain't your oppression. Never got a question, pushing me to progression like.